what is the biggest shift that you see catapult them to the next level, or a shift that you think every business owner could make that would really get them the results they're looking for?
We can always do more. And it comes down to like us as the individual, the beingness, the bottleneck, like getting out of our own way to actually have the life and the business that we want. Most people are going to come to a coach and they're going to be mad when we're going to talk about like how they're showing up. They're going to be mad when we talk about their mindset. And they're like, no, I want results in my business. Well, guess what? Your results are a direct reflection of who you are, how you think, how you operate right now. So if you want more, more is required.
Welcome to Brazen and Bold. Today, I am honored to present my beautiful friend, Shelby. She is the owner of Graeber Co., based out of Boise, Idaho, and someone who, surprisingly, has no actual salon background, but has found herself working from the front desk to now the owner of a salon. Tons of experience in the industry, and honestly, a real business badass. I had the pleasure of meeting Shelby earlier this year, and am so grateful that you've agreed to join me on my show to share with our listeners a little bit more about you. So thank you for joining us, Shelby.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So thanks for scheduling a little bit of time. And as these things go, I just love to pick people's brains, and just a little bit earlier before we started recording, Shelby and I got talking about some different concepts in business and leadership. And you've been in a business position, a leadership position, and a coaching position for better than 20 years, correct?
Yes, this is my 24th year with my company this year.
Okay, so she's in charge and she knows what's going on. What I think is so fun, we've got a little bit of a similar background. You have education experience. You have a college degree that has nothing to do with hair. We both started as the front desk at our salons that we now own, which is kind of fun. And I've been at my salon 24 years as well. So
oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun little, it was fun kind of like, looking over things and chit-chatting and realizing we have some of that in common. I would love to know what got you from the front desk to doing what you're doing today, because it's a pretty huge jump. And did you ever consider your path would unfold like this?
Yeah, huge leap. And no, I never considered that I would be in the beauty industry or own a salon. When I first started out, I actually started out when I was 19, working at the front desk at Graeber Company. And I was going to college and getting my degree in marketing, marketing and communication. And so that's really where my focus was. And I worked for Graeber Company for about 2 years at the front desk and in small, like very small leadership capacity. And I had an opportunity to go work with the brand and get a job with the brand when I was 21 in sales. And so here I am, 21 years old, and I am the state of Idaho brand rep, and I'm helping salon owners run their businesses based off of what I had learned at the front desk and through the brand company. And so just being really young and in that space and with other business owners who didn't necessarily know what I knew. Most of them were behind the chair. They were providing amazing services. They were doing hair, but they were not running their businesses in a way that was profitable, sustainable, had longevity, those things. So that's really kind of what took me to end up coming back to Graeber like less than a year later. And I told my boss, if I come back, she gets to let me do what I want to do. And she was like, okay, take it over. And so I came back and I took retail from a couple $100,000 a year to over $500,000 in a year. I started putting everything that I learned to work, and I started getting immediate results. And then we negotiated her buyout and I bought her out at 25. And I guess the rest is history, right?
That's incredible. Well, maybe it wasn't incredibly strategic of you, because you went and you added a lot to her revenue and bottom line, probably boosted her profit significantly. And then you're like, now I'm going to buy this business that I just beefed up. I hope that you got a break somehow in that deal. I mean, what a remarkable thing to be in a position to purchase a business at the age of 25. It's a pretty personal question, but I think listeners would love to know, if you're comfortable sharing, how did you execute something like that in a buyout at such a young age?
Yeah. So I think it's funny, like definitely did not get a deal. And there were 4 partners at the time. So I bought into the company. I bought out my boss and she was the managing partner. So I bought out 25%. And then I had 3 other business partners, one of them who I had only met one other time. He was a silent partner. And so I was able to get, I had owned a home at that time. I was able to get a second mortgage on my home. I was able to borrow against it. My dad co signed one of his properties. I was turned away by six different lenders. I mean, it took everything to make sure that I got my foot in the door. And then over the next 12 years, I bought out each one of the partners and I've owned it since 2021, 100%.
You just slowly took everyone out. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And you invested, I mean, you put your own self on the line and a lot of risk in that, in addition to leveraging the support of your dad, which is huge.
Yeah.
What made you so sure you could bet on this business or on yourself in your capacity with this business?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think for me, it was definitely I had already created results within a company that was existing, and this business. So we've been in business 61 years this year, so it has a huge legacy in my city, and it had already been around for a long time. And back then, it was booth rental, and it was very different than what it is now. But I think I had created evidence. I knew I could sell. I knew I could create experiences for clients that most of our team at that time they weren't creating, so I could help them get better. I could help them earn more money. And I just knew that I was like, well, if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? Because at the time the owners were in their mid 50s and early 60s, they were going to retire. So I think I kind of was just like, well, if not me, then who? And like, I can do it. I'm capable. And so I was just like, let's go. It wasn't a startup. It already had established clients. It had an established brand. Um, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, if you could tell yourself on the first day of the job, 19-year-old you, front
Yeah.
desk, first day, Graeber and Co. This is Shelby. How can I help you? If you could call that girl on the phone and tell her something, just one thing, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. It would be just keep going. Keep going because I tried to give up like 3 different times during that time frame and I put in my notice. I tried to quit. I left. I had kids. I had kids early, all the things. And so I think just like to keep going and trust in yourself.
Okay. If
Yeah.
I could call her, hey, Shelby, this is Heather. I'm also working at the front desk at a salon a couple states south of you. You're a freaking badass. That's what I'd say. Hi, you're incredible. I'm so excited that I'll get to meet you in a couple, I don't know, 24 cool years from now. It's really amazing what you've been able to accomplish and to just slowly build into taking over fully. So you run a business that's over 60 years old.
Mhm.
How long have you been the sole owner?
So I've been the sole owner since 2021, so a little over 5 years.
Okay.
I've been the managing partner the whole time since I was 25, so since 2009. Um, yeah, so just running everything. I restructured the company in 2015 from booth rental to employee based. Had a full walkout, did the things, bootstrapped it again, and grew it to what it is today. And it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the size of your salon spaces at one location, how many chairs and how many team members you have roughly.
Yeah. So this location, we just did our full build out. I bought a commercial condo in 2023,
Nice.
tore it all the way down
Congrats.
to the studs. Thank you. Tore it down to the studs and built my dream salon. And so we have been there not quite 2 years yet. It's almost 6,000 square feet, but it has my fiance's coffee shop and wine bar attached to it. And we have a salon and a facial bar. And so we've got 22 chairs currently. And then the salon space is about 4,400 square feet or so.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then what, besides the coffee shop and the salon, do you have spa services there or other services besides hair?
Yeah, we have a 2-chair facial bar. And so we are doing signature facials. We're doing microneedling, hydrofacial. We are launching Hydra Scalp this next week. So we're very
Cool.
excited to bring
Okay.
that in. Yep. Hair
Okay.
loss solution. We have extensions. We're taking certifications in wigs and toppers towards the end of the year.
Okay.
So big plan.
Okay, that's incredible. That's really fun. Um,
Yeah.
and then over the space of time, you mean you've been recognized for multiple accomplishments in the Boise Chamber of Commerce. You've also the Velocity Award, right? Your salon was awarded the Velocity Award through High Performance Salons. A couple of different recognitions for what you've been able to accomplish, and then you've also spent time as a business coach. what would you say is your biggest takeaway from the time that you spent working with other salon owners and seeing what it takes in different markets across the country to build a business that's successful?
Yeah. So being a mentor, when I was a mentor for High Performance Salon Academy, that it was such a beautiful experience because it was all different salon owners of different sizes of locations all across the country and in Canada, but yet we still have very similar challenges. And so, really, what I saw, some of the biggest gaps that I saw was really the onboarding, hiring, onboarding, accountability, and expectations, because you can get a whole group of people in a business and they can do the hair and they can have the service and you can hit your goals, but if you don't have something that's repeatable, that's a high standard that you can go back to and coach to, it's really hard to grow. So that's something that I kept seeing over and over again is that part of it. And then really as a business owner, like taking yourself out from behind the chair. That's actually why I spent like 5 years going back and forth if I was going to get licensed or not early in my career. And I just kept going back. If I was going to build a business behind the chair, I wouldn't be able to focus on my team. And I have 30, 32, sometimes 35. I think right now we have 32 team members. I wouldn't be able to help them and help their families and help them grow in their career, And so taking a step back away from the hair, if you're still behind the chair, and really focus on the business and what is the vision for the company? What do you want people to say about you? What do you want to be known for? And then how are you going to get there and kind of reverse engineer it? So it usually starts with hiring the people, onboarding them correctly, training them, having systems, things that most salons don't have, really.
Well, you're speaking my love language. They're supposedly like gifts, act of service. My love language, my love languages are systems, efficiency,
Mhm.
processes. So,
Yes.
say more, say more. At what
Yeah.
point would you suggest it's time for a salon owner, business owner, to get out of the operator role and into the operations role? When do you think that
Yeah.
it's time to make that kind of a switch?
Well, I know you can look at it from revenue, but also if you can't get to that revenue point, it's generally because you're the bottleneck. So you kind of have to decide on like how much do you want to grow your company and is it by the team members? So is it when you start to hit 10 or 12 team members in your salon, can you replace your income or at least half of your income by hiring and training more providers so that you can focus on the business? Or is it that you need to hit, 700, $800,000 in services and get your profitability up? So that's a tough question because I think that it goes really, it's individually on what the person wants and needs and how quickly they want to get there. Because it could take 5 months or it could take 5 years. Like, what do you want to do? You know?
I love compressing time. And I think most
Yeah.
people, I mean, speed is the new currency. Efficiency, like I said, efficient AF is one of my business taglines. What what levers do you see being important or critical in the ability to speed up building revenue, building profitability? Like, what are those things to look for? The dials that you can turn there, you're going to see the biggest results in for anybody listening who owns a salon right now.
Yeah. So it's funny because I really tend to lean on marketing. Marketing, I mean, sales will solve most, not all, but most. And so I always want to go down the route of marketing and sales. But then at the same time, if you don't have retention, it doesn't matter how much sales you generate if you cannot retain the guest. And so for me, 5-star experience training, that is what I wholeheartedly believe in. I am part of our mission. Our biggest mission is care above all at Graeber and
Mm.
Company. And so when we serve the guest at the highest level, when I have taught my team that they can deliver the technical service, like we do a ton of education so that they can deliver what the guest wants. But how were they greeted? How were they cared for? What was the memorable moment in the service? We know the client life cycle and their journey throughout the experience, and like they don't love walking in the door. Like it's scary, intimidating to come into a salon. They don't love the consultation. I think it's 92% of stylists say that they give a consultation. 98% of clients say they've never received one. So it's thorough consultations.
Who's the
It's
liar here?
right, right. But that's the thing is like you stand behind them and you say, "Oh, what are we doing today? What do you think from last time?" Even if you're asking questions, did you treat it like when the doctor comes in and the doctor comes in and then they have their assistant and the assistant's taking notes and they're using something to write it down? that is a professional consultation that I'm going to know that they're listening. And so all we have to do, like we do eye to eye consultations, we have chairs, we sit in front of you, we have a hospitality card that has all the questions on it, we have a work ticket that they're going to talk about the pricing agreement, they're going to talk about the maintenance plan. Like we know the pain points for every client so that we
Yeah.
can retain them better.
Okay, I love that. And you talked about, I think did you call it the 5-star welcome or the 5-star experience?
No,
What did you call it?
five-star experience. Yeah,
The
five-star
5-star
experience.
experience.
Mhm.
Are you is this something you're comfortable sharing, like a little bit of outline? What is the training like for I'm a new hire at Graeber and Co. I just moved here. Hi, I'm new. I just got out of beauty school. Um, what does my induction into the 5-star experience look like, and how's the indoctrination in your brand? Like,
Yeah.
what does that standard look like? Because I think a lot of people
Yeah,
hear
that's
this like, yeah, yeah, I teach consultation. Yeah, I do that. That's cool. Just like you
yeah,
just said, 99% of stylists say I give a consultation, and 99%, okay, whatever number, but you know
yeah.
what I mean? All of us say
It's
we did a
high.
consultation, and all of the guests are like, no, you didn't. I think a lot of owners are like, oh yeah, I train my team. Oh yeah, I teach them how to do a consultation. And I
Yeah,
imagine there's a lot of team members who are like, I don't know what that was. So
yeah.
I would love to hear from you with your success level. What does that look like? Day one, I got my kit. I'm here at your salon. How does it go from here?
Day one. So before day one, you've already done a 2-day audition with us. So before day one, before you're ever hired, you've spent 2 days fully immersed doing your models. And we have technical requirements. So like whether that's a lived in color, I'm your model, you're doing a root retouch or a single process or a blowout on me. We want to see your bobs. We want to see your short creatives. We want to see your men's cuts. Like you're working with us for 2 days, so you already know the level of expectation that we're playing at. So when you come to onboarding, so we have 4 days of onboarding. So you get an offer letter right after auditions, then you start 4 days of onboarding. Onboarding is going to really, it's a full 4 day immersive into our culture, our core values, our brand partners, how we do our signature services. You're going to learn our signature long layer cut. You're going to learn our consultation method. You're going to learn why we do our towel wraps the way we do, our aroma rituals the way we do. You're going to learn everything about Graeber and Company and about me and about our standards in those 4 days. And then you're going to practice and role play. And then you're going to go to your department. And the next 2 weeks, you're going to spend training in your department. And so that is a lot up front that we do so that they're set up for success when they take their guest. Now, if they're a new stylist right out of school, they're going to also go into our advanced training academy.
Awesome.
That could take 4 months, it could take 9 months, depending on their path and where they're at with their technical skill and ability.
That's phenomenal. So that journey of me, like an actual experienced stylist, coming into your space would be 2-day audition, 4-day onboarding experience. Who's leading that onboarding experience? Do you have multiple team members? Do you do it in a cohort, or is it like brand new person number one, like Heather's here, you start on Monday, and then you just roll it out as people join your team? How does that look for you guys?
Yeah, so we have the whole year mapped out. We have 4 days every single month already blocked out for the entire year, and we plug every single person into onboarding. So that onboarding, it generally is a group. Sometimes it's one if we're only hiring one that month, but generally it's a group, and it may be the barista, the concierge team member, an assistant, a stylist, and an esthetician, and they might all be in there together. Yeah, which is amazing because we're going to also talk about like their hopes and dreams. What are their personal, professional, financial goals? They're going to create vision boards in there. They're going to share with each other. So we're building camaraderie, we're building collaboration all in those 4 days as well. And if you're an experienced stylist, we've already seen your technical skill and ability. You've already shown us. We've already met with you. We've gone over pricing, timing standards, like efficiency, all of those things. Now we get to find out about you and what's your hopes and dreams and how can I help you get there quicker. And so Sydney is leading those most of the time, my manager. So that's mapped out on her calendar it's like the first or second week every single month for the entire year. And then she plugs in, we have a couple leads who teach like our signature long layer. They may teach our blowout. They may teach the quadrants for product training. We've got a couple that teach makeup. So we'll just plug them in depending on their schedules, but we don't want to take them
Mhm.
away from guests either. So
Sure,
it just
sure.
depends. Yeah.
And obviously, if it's the barista, are they still learning your signature haircut?
They're they're in their first 2 days
Thank you.
of
I was
our
like,
onboarding.
but also like I understand why it would make sense for the barista to understand everything about your experience so that they can speak
Yeah.
with an educated influence around the guest experience. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Very, very thorough and detailed. And I think, as an owner, I have a smaller salon space. I have a team. I have a 2,000 square foot space with 12 chairs. So it's a little smaller than half of your salon size. And I know the effort it takes to lead onboarding and training and to be consistent, especially heaven forbid, if you're doing guests still, or if you have
Yeah.
anything else going on in your life, like children, you have all those things and you're still maintaining this. And I imagine, I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess, you absolutely have regular touch points with every one of your team members, no matter their role in your organization. And I would love to know, how often are you meeting with your team members and what do those meetings look like? For example, the concierge or desk experience, whatever you call that. I would love to just know, what are those touch points? And are you the one doing these one-on-ones? Do you have a leadership team who does them? Because I can't imagine you're accomplishing and achieving at the level you are without regular touch points.
Yeah. So that's really important. We have that all mapped out. So if they're new to us, they're meeting once a week in that little mini group, whoever was hired. They're meeting with Sydney for 30 minutes. They're checking in every single week for the first 90 days.
Nice.
Our concierge team meets every single week on Wednesdays for an hour, and we go over their departments. They have a front of house manager, and they have our location manager who helps them. So that department meets once a week. We have our all team meetings, and they're just like fun, community collaboration, education. We just reset standards, reset our 5-star guest experience standard this last training. And so those are the first Tuesday of every month. They're for about 2 hours. And then I do every 90 days, I do a PPF or a PDM. So personal development meeting, or your personal professional financial goal setting. And I'm your coach, and Sydney's their coach for every 90 days to really help them get to the income and the lifestyle that they said that they wanted. We're going to refine in real time.
Hey, business owners. Yes, you. I know you're juggling it all: marketing, admin tasks, websites, podcasts, social media. The list never ends. That's where Spark comes in. We're a virtual assistant company built just for small business owners, because once you're able to delegate, we know you'll be able to dominate. Our clients are seeing up to 30% increase in social media engagement and sales, all by letting us handle the behind the scenes work. Not to mention an incredible boost in flexibility, profit, and time. So scan the QR code right now to schedule a free chat with my team. Let's make you efficient AF and help you focus on what you do best: growing and leading your business. You've outlined a really detailed plan, not only an onboarding orientation, but of continued and sustained coaching for the team members that work with you. I can't imagine anyone being on your team and not feeling wholly supported and like they really do have the capacity to meet their goals. And I know as an individual, when I have that kind of belief or encouragement in my corner, I want to knock it out of the park. And I've personally seen it with my team. I would say I'm a bit less structured. Where I'm doing a lot of these things that you're describing. So, you know, right. But it sounds like you guys have such a turnkey program, which I really admire. That takes so much thoughtfulness and so
Yeah.
much follow through and a ton of real leadership thoughtfulness to get not only to set up, but then to follow through and execute regularly. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can just see, even in my own team, when I invest and as I continue to invest, the absolute exponential return on investment when we as leaders give back to our team and really want to understand not only what it is they want, but then we help outline and define how they can accomplish it. So that's so
Yeah.
powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing a bit of that. And then you just said you refined your standards. The industry is changing. We're recording this right now in August of 2026. So if you're listening to this next year, it's time to update our standards again. We'll have Shelby on to say, like, just kidding, here's what's new. But consumer behavior is changing at a breakneck speed due to the consistent influx and accessibility of information, trends, etc. How long was it in between when you last revamped your standards and your 5-star standards to now, give or take?
Okay. So we really launched it probably in 2023.
Okay.
So 2 years ago. Well, 2 to 3 years ago is when we really launched the full guest journey, 5-star experience. Like, what is the Graeber standard? And then we have refined it since then. So every onboarding session, every time we hire someone new, they get the newest updated version. and then we reset with our existing team. And so
Okay.
we're constantly making sure that it's better all the time. And then this time it was very interesting because we're getting ready for a price increase. And I knew that that was coming. But what the consumer wants is so important. And when value is present, price isn't the issue. And so we want to really make sure we're creating so much value. And so getting my team ready and going through our 5-star experience standards and everything, like they're nervous, they're shaking in their boots, but it's okay.
Oh, I love that. And so it sounds like there's going to be a consistent reiterations of whatever it is, and then touching base with the existing team, which I think is that's also brilliant. You have to keep track in order to do that. With your big reset, what would you say are the biggest components of the 5-star standards that you have added to and augmented for this, new consumer desire, demand, or what a consumer is looking for when doing business?
Yeah. So we actually took out double booking. So we have single services with clients at a premium price so that they are not distracted and they are not disrupted. Um, our rituals, non negotiable. Like every guest, every time, our guest is going to receive an aroma ritual, a grounding ritual when they get there. Their consultation is eye to eye consultation with a work ticket. It's written down. If it's a new service, there's a signed pricing agreement, so there's no issue at checkout. They go back to the lather lounge. It's quiet. It's relaxing. We have jade eye masks back there. We are Our new pricing model will include toners. It'll include bond repair. Like we're not going to be a la carting all the things. So that's a really big deal because those prices are going to look really big, and like we did a huge jump, but it's just that we're not going to keep asking them, do they want a toner when we know they need a toner, you know?
Right, right.
So
Unbundling
those, and
what needs
yeah,
to be taken apart and then being like, you cannot leave with a dimension service without an overlay, a gloss, or a toner. Right.
yeah, yeah. And so we needed to start thinking in that capacity. And people are tired of making decisions. I mean, they have 6,000 distractions a day. How could we be one less distraction and one more memorable moment for them? And so we've started playing with some new technology and having hair quizzes to really dial in like product recommendations. So we're trying some new technology out.
Hmm.
Um, the goodbye for now, of course, like we keep our gallery stroll in there. We want to let the guests touch and feel the product. I mean, they're things that are like old. Like we know that we've been doing this for a long time, but have we been consistently doing it every guest, every time, even on your worst day, even with the guests who've seen you for 40 years? Are you giving that service? Because the reasons people leave our salon is because they didn't get what they wanted,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned some of these standards might have been things that have been in some form or fashion, part of your deliverable in the 5-star experience for the last 60 years. And that's
Yeah.
because certain things hold true, like connecting eye to eye and so forth. But I love how you bring up one less decision to make. My name is
Nope.
Heather. I have decision fatigue. I've been in charge of everything for too long, and I'm tired. I mean, there's when we were talking about the paradox and the to go into a sidebar, the conversation Shelby and I had before we started recording about being in strong yang masculine producing in charge energy, and then the shift to being receptive or soft when it comes to other facets of our lives. Both of us are mothers, and there's a lot to learn though from showing up in as a powerful force, which is required. It's really requisite when operating a business that's going to get anywhere in life. But oh my gosh, that kind of energy is exhausting. And so to be able to soften, to be indulged, to be like, jade mask me, do the serum, the gloss, the enhancement, the mask, hand massage, give me the ritual. And like, don't ask me if I want it. Of course, do I look like I want that? Yes, I want that. It's going to be $30
Yes.
more. Make it 40. Don't ask me a question. And that's probably the type of clientele you're attracting, people who
Yeah.
understand the value of high caliber service. And I don't I don't want that to be an option. You know what I mean? I really I love what you're saying to take that burden off of an already overtaxed, overwhelmed nervous system. And one thing I teach a class for I'm a contractor for a company, and I also consult other salons on components of business, but especially about communication, connection, and consultation. You can't give a good consultation if you're not connecting. And my salon director has told me before, she's like, I am afraid to even talk to you. Back when I was seeing guests, she's like, I'm afraid to talk to you unless like something is on fire to come up because there's like
Yeah.
a bubble around you and your guest. So I started realizing like, if you don't look over and wonder if you're about to kiss, you're like, are they about to kiss? Are they in love? What's going on in that first in that consultation? If you don't wonder if these two people are in love over here, you're doing your consultation wrong. No, I mean that in a non sexual harassment way. But like truly, it should be that deeply connected, like these people are vibing. I want people to leave and come up later and be like, how long have you guys known each other? Like you two are a great couple. That's how you want the guests to feel so that you're removing the pressure of like, I know that when I feel that heard, I'm going to trust and invest so much more. And I'm also knowing that when I hear that deeply, I only want what's
Yeah.
best for you once I've understood and heard what your real concerns are. I'm not going to send you home with 45 things you don't need. I've heard you. I know what you
No.
want. And like that just, I mean, let's copy and paste that to every relationship and interaction with every human. And maybe the world would be a better place to start off with to be able to connect that deeply. So I'm sure that this 5-star experience actually impacts a lot of other areas of the way your team shows up. So anyway, I love that. Thank you for sharing those updates because I do think there are things that used to be like, I want to be in and out, but I don't want to feel rushed. Like, so that's my thing. And
Yes.
that's why double booking does not work for me. I really just want to be able to be indulged, but can you indulge me in 3 minutes? And can you also get everything else done at the same time? So efficiency and speed are so important, but to do that without making it feel like a number or a meal or routine, that's awesome. And you've worked with salons across the country and you've done a ton with coaching and all those things. And I know you're stepping back to focus more on your business now, which is incredible. And I'm sure those results are already really showing up. I would love to know, based on your experience working with salons, seeing what you've seen on every level, the type of people who engage you, who spend the money and invest, are already probably high performing to start with. What is the biggest shift that you see catapult them to the next level, or a shift that you think every business owner could make that would really get them the results they're looking for? Like, there's got to be this one thing that you've seen like 80% of people needing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think about that a lot actually. And I think it doesn't like we can always do more. And it comes down to like us as the individual, the beingness, the bottleneck, like getting out of our own way to actually have the life and the business that we want. And that is a whole different level of like most people are going to come to a coach and they're going to be mad when we're going to talk about like how they're showing up. They're going to be mad when we talk about their mindset and they're like, "No, I want results in my business." Well, guess what? Your results are a direct reflection of who you are, how you think, how you operate right now. So if you want more, more is required. That is like literally mic drop every time. Everybody wants more and they don't want to do more. And so when we start to really look at ourself and our mindset and maybe our limits and our beliefs, that is when we start to really be able to pull back the curtain and create more for our business and our teams.
And I can hear people screaming already. I don't want this nonsense woo woo
Nope.
mindset. I want to know what I need to do to make my business better today, right now. Like blah.
Yeah.
And yeah, spoiler alert: it's not sexy, it's not fun, it's not flashy. It's digging deeper. Ew! How
Yep.
dare you?
I know. I know. I'm like, we can talk about your average ticket. We could talk about your price per square foot. I mean, we could do all those things and none of it's going to matter if you don't believe it. None of it's going to matter if you don't have the vision to go the distance or the endurance to go the distance. And all of that starts with us as leaders.
Yeah, discipline is a word that's coming to mind as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I could
Yeah.
consume every podcast, book, show, talk to 4 coaches, and they call it an ask hole. You can be an ask hole. You can ask all the questions, attend every seminar and workshop, leave with binders full of ideas, and then fast forward, you're not doing any of it. So,
Yeah.
um, what would you say then to that point of mindset shift, which thank you for that, which nobody wants to hear. Um, but what would you say is the number one tool, whether it's a resource, a book, a podcast, a spiritual
Mm.
practice, even that you have seen help people navigate? I understand that to walk somebody through that is far more than just saying, read this book, listen to this one thing, but like maybe there's a practitioner or a mentor, like I said, spiritual leader, or some sort of concept and philosophy that helped you wrap your mind around mindset. Is there
Yeah.
anything like that that you've seen be impactful for people looking for that change?
Yeah, I started my journey probably 13, 14 years ago in personal development. And I went to some classes. It's called PSI seminars, and it literally changed my life. And it really breaks down like our mental, physical, spiritual, emotional wealth, purpose, like all of these areas of the human experience, and that every decision is up to me, and it like taught me personal responsibility and accountability, and that's what I keep coming back to like after this many years, and I've gone through all of their programs and everything that they've ever done, but I could go and I could sit in a class and I could still not get the result. So I come home, I apply what I learn, I shift it to what works for me, and then I remember like my reaction is up to me. I am responsible for the results that I want. Like it happens through me because of me, however I want. And when you take that much personal responsibility for your life, your whole world changes. Like it's not the economy, it's not the clients, it's not my staff, it's not the industry, it's not any of those excuses. Like I can have the power to shift what's happening in my life. And that is massive for everybody.
What a great sermon. And absolute thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Like, that's a wrap. Everybody, we got what we needed. Thanks, Shelby. Thanks everybody else for listening. You know, the next 20 minutes is just fun and fluff. No, that's huge. And what I'm hearing over and over, and that is another way of saying it in my mind, I'm hearing radical accountability. I mean,
Yes.
absolute full accountability, complete self-authoring. Like you're the master of the fate. You're of your fate. You're the captain of your soul, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I love how you said it's not the economy. It's not this because I'm going to tell you, we're around the same age.
Yeah.
Medium, early 40s,
Yeah.
and wouldn't know what to look at Shelby. She is the glowing effervescence of perfection over here on the screen. But it's easy to be like, we worked so hard. I would be pregnant, barf in the bathroom, show up and keep doing hair. Panic attack, no problem. I'll have a panic attack and then show up and finish doing what I'm supposed to do. Like you
I'd
just
rest,
keep
no
going.
problem. Yep.
Yeah. And so it would be really easy as a current salon owner with the up and coming um, employee, you know, landscape to be like, yeah, how do I even work with you people? Like I didn't do that. Like I worked 85 hours a day and I didn't eat lunch and all these like martyring unhealthy practices. It's a totally different landscape right now when it comes to the current employee market and
Yeah.
blaming that. Nobody wants to work more hours. Nobody does. BTW. Nobody wants to work more hours.
Yeah.
People blaming that though is such a freaking cop out. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
who the president is. It doesn't matter what's going on. It matters what you put your mind to and also what you accept responsibility for, because there are people who are thriving in every single landscape. And so give me a reason why I can't figure that out too. And I think that's
Yeah.
massive. That really is.
Yeah.
Then thank you for sharing that. Is there a favorite book or podcast or something like that that you would encourage listeners to tune in for that works on some of these concepts that you can think of?
Oh my goodness. I'm like, I should have prepared that. I have tons of books right behind me. Um, right now, I mean, I'm for the last like 5 years, I'm geeking out on unreasonable hospitality, and really that book, there's a field guide now, there's workshops there for my business, but also like in leadership and for my
Mhm.
team. Um, I don't know if there's one. I mean, I don't know if there's one that's like changed my life, but I've been following Ryan Leake a lot lately. He has a lot of personal responsibility, radical accountability. Also, I think he talks about the breadcrumb, about looking back and see who helped you get to where you
Mhm.
are. Like none of us got here alone. And to go back and remember and thank them, and to be a part of also doing that for other people. Um, of course, the E Myth, I've read it however many times. So I don't know. There's tons of books. I read books like I'm like you, one or two every week, a few a month. So
Sick
I definitely
person you
stay
are.
up to date.
Um, I want to join your book club. I'll text you for suggestions later. It reminds me of the Longfellow poem, The Psalm of Life, about lives of great men remind us that we can make our lives sublime and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. So these footprints that will help another.
I
Sailing
love
o'er life's
them.
solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing can take heart again. And so we've had footprints ahead of us, people leading the way, and to take that same appreciation for it and see what those breadcrumbs were, and then to turn around and say, like, how can I reach over and shine a lamp or give a light to somebody who's also in this path? And I would say, truly, Shelby, spending time in this kind of space and sharing these types of insights so generously is a huge way that you're impacting and leaving those types of um, those little guideposts and breadcrumbs for people to follow a path to something a lot greater. So you're already doing
Oh,
it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You got a random salon owner who's listening to this. And I'm sure many of them are going to be like, I'm scribbling furious notes. And I'm really, really wanting to learn. What do you think besides these deeper core concepts, which are so much more important than going up to the tip of the iceberg, which is what is my price per service, price per hour? Those metrics matter. But what is something that you think a salon owner should stop and slow down and like a specific KPI that you think will have the biggest impact if they're to understand it on, let's say, a weekly basis?
oh, the biggest KPI. Right now, I mean, always, but right now we are focusing on rebook every single guest every single day. And I think social media has told the stylists like to block out their schedules in advance and not open them and don't pre-book clients. So I don't know who was ever saying that. Don't listen to that because that is the number one indicator that is not a lagging indicator that can tell you whether people trust you or not today, and will they trust you in the future, and did you have an income today, and will you have an income in the future. And
Yeah,
so that is something that if my team, if they're not hitting that KPI, we're really focusing on that right now. We're doing on the floor evals. Like we're checking to see what is being missed, where is the trust being lost? What's Is it too casual? Right? Is it too awkward or professional? Like there's clues, right? And then we look at the stylists who are winning, and success leaves clues. And so that would be all day, every day, I'm looking for rebook and what's happening. Yeah.
that's a really solid metric. And like you said, there's been controversy and shifting opinions in the last few years about how that goes because no shows and people don't know their schedules and want flexibility. Also, I want to eat and play and pay my bills. I like that you also reference the high achievers in your own organization. What a great place to look like. This person seems to have it figured out. Why is their retail to service average 30%? If
Yeah.
they can do it in the same economy and zip code, why can't everybody? And then looking to them again, those like breadcrumbs, those seeds planted, those what clues are we getting from that? I absolutely love that. You have a very high performing mindset. You have incredible intention toward personal development and growth, and clearly a ton of discipline behind it. What habits do you have that help you stay healthy and focused?
Oh man, this one's so good. I am definitely in some kind of workshop, conference, personal development often, at least once a quarter. I love learning. So that's really important for me. Like I need to stay in the work and be in rooms with people who are doing bigger things than I am, and where I can ideate. So I make sure I have several of those on my calendar for the whole year. I make sure my family goes first on my calendar. So my daughter's a competitive dancer, so all of her dance classes and weekend conferences and workshops, all of that's on my calendar before work is, so that I can work around my life. We plan our family vacations out a year in advance. I know the times of year that my business is stressful and under pressure, and so I plan for those things. And I think that that's what's helped me out probably the most as an owner, is to like really look and see what kind of life do I want to design, and then design it that way so I have less chaos and less crisis. And you can do that. I mean, it's not perfect, but it works, you know?
Because it's still life. So there's other variables and humans showing up, which I mean, I swear the dad come humans keep doing these things. But that is yeah, like what I keep hearing from everything that you've shared and everything from meeting you originally in Ireland, which was a delight. And then, our pre interview is like, it keeps striking me what an incredibly thoughtful person you are, how deliberate you pursue each aspect of your life. And the results are profound. It's so clear the results that you're getting are because of your intentionality around the work you're doing. It's such an honor to know you, to be able to spend this time with you, to learn, and also the gift that you're sharing. Behind you, there's a great book called "Prove Them Wrong." It's a book that you are a contributing author to. I would love to hear a little bit about that, and and tell me about your experience in working on that project.
Oh, that was such a beautiful project that we did last year. There were 11 of us co authors that contributed to that. I think over 290 years of combined experience in the beauty industry, which is amazing. And it really is for it's for anyone really who's been told that whether this industry isn't great, whether what they're choosing isn't great, and how they can prove them wrong. So there is some mindset in there. It really goes into service, sales, and self. And there are some pillars that you can learn from. And then there's some story in the back. And the story is it's an easy read, super easy read, but it helps service providers go from maybe where they are to a bigger earning potential, a bigger life, maybe as they mature out of the industry. Like it has different phases for you as you grow in this career and things that are required because again, when we want more, more is required. And so it's a great guide for service providers, but really anybody who's looking for more in their life and that they can get something out of it.
Awesome. Thank you. People listening who want to stalk you, learn more about you, maybe see if there's a way they can bump into you at one of your quarterly self improvement seminars, conferences, workshops, places that you go to learn. How can they get in touch with you or find you and learn more about your work?
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. So Instagram, Shelby Bills underscore. Find me on Instagram. I'm doing a lot of stuff and sharing now. And since I've stepped back from a more public space, I'm just kind of sharing thoughts and what's going on. But I love collaboration and I would love to connect with other people and know what's happening in the industry. Also follow us at Graeber Company and then Boise Hairstylist Careers if you want to see an inside peek on how we nurture and navigate our new hires and getting out into the marketplace.
Well, maybe on my next visit to see my best friend in Boise, I can coordinate it to be along those same timelines and pop in and be a fly on the wall to just see that. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you. Thank you again so much, and I really, really think the listeners will have so much to gather from your influence. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, everyone. Bye.